guys, welcome to the Not Your Average Knits podcast. This is episode 39, I think. I am super unprepared right now because, as you probably know, it's been almost a month since I podcast last. Actually, maybe just a month or even more. And I wasn't even planning on podcasting today. I just had a couple hours that I could do it. So I'm sort of just decided to jump on, pulled all of my stuff together, and I'm just going to kind of wing it as I go. I really didn't want to take any more time until I did another episode. And things have just been busy. Work's been super duper busy. And I've just been kind of away on the weekends and didn't really have a lot of time to podcast, and don't really have a lot of time coming up in the next couple weeks. So this will probably be a super quick episode, even though I feel like I have so much to show, but I probably will kind of fly through it. So anyway, welcome to anyone who's new. Welcome back to all of my watchers from the very beginning. If you haven't had a chance to subscribe yet, I would love it if you could. It just really helps to see kind of who's enjoying the episode and the podcast in general. I will put all of my info below here where you can find me, but as you know, my name is Kim, and I want to show you what I've been knitting because I have a couple finished objects, lots of works in progress, things that you haven't even seen before. I remember last episode, I was like, I'm going to finish all of my whips, and of course, I have cast on a lot more things. So the first finished object that I want to show you is my Comfort Fade cardigan. So this was definitely one that I've had hanging out for a really long time. Was so excited to finish it. It's not blocked. None of my ends are woven in. So I will definitely take more time, model it, show you guys and all of that stuff like once it's finished. But this will definitely be a Rhinebeck sweater. Whether it's my Saturday sweater or my Sunday sweater is yet to be determined because I am hopefully going to finish item number 2 in a month before Rhinebeck comes along. Okay, so this is, make sure it's the right way. So this is my Comfort Fade cardigan. All of the yarns I used is all on my projects page on Ravelry. I'm kbridgeo on Ravelry. Sorry, there's people outside my apartment building. Because I'm not going to go through all of the yarns right now because my head is so scattered. I'm not going to remember all of the names and I don't want to leave anybody out. But I did use 5 different colors. The pattern calls for 4, but I didn't quite have enough yardage of the different colors, so I kind of added a 5th and played around depending upon which colors I had more yardage of. And so the pattern is written for the reverse stockinette side to be what's out. And the whole time that I was knitting it, I have a hard time with that. Like, I like the look of stockinette. I wanted to just be true to the pattern. So I knit it as though I was going to wear it this way, thinking that once I made that decision that I wouldn't be able to flip it inside out because of sort of the way you carry yarn and stuff. But when I flipped it inside out, I mean, I'm going to have to weave in some ends and make sure that things are wrapped the right way, but I think it's going to be fine. So I modeled it for my knitting friends both ways, and they kind of like it stockinette side out. It still has this little stripy look to it, but it's just, I don't know, it's soft, and I just like that a little bit more than the reverse side. So I'm going to give it a go. I do really love the collar on this thing. I'll just put one arm on to show you. It's just like a super big garter collar. You just kind of pick up along sort of the main part of the sweater once you're done, and then you knit out this way in garter ridges and you kind of stripe. Pink, if you see the pinkish color, that was the one that I only had one skein of. Yeah. And so I had to do less of this, and I actually did less of it on the sleeves, and I didn't do any of that pink in the collar. And I did a little bit more of the lightest color, which was Hypnotic Yarn Snowberries. Here I was saying I wasn't going to say what all my colors were, but so that was one that I did kind of add a little bit of and sort of saved it for the collar so that the collar was lighter. Anyway, I really liked it. I'm going to obviously save a big reveal for when it's done, but I'm super happy with it. Can't wait to block it. Like, it fits good unblocked. Like, I think it will feel a lot better once it is blocked. But yeah, I'm super excited. So very, very happy to have this finished. And again, I finished it a while ago, and it's just been kind of, taunting me to block me, weave in my ends, wear me, but I haven't quite done it yet. So that's finished. So then the other 2 finished things I want to show you are actually woven. So I've talked countless times in every episode about the fact that I sell items at a craft fair. That's a fundraiser for my niece's high school, where they're in the music program. There's a huge, big music program at their high school. And the parents are really great about putting on tons of things to help the students raise money for all of the different events and shows and trips that they take. Anyway, so I've been doing that for a few years, and their school colors are maroon and gold, which is super hard colors to find. If you're a yarn dyer, you probably, I would imagine they're really hard colors to dye. So it's always been hard. Like, I've made some things, but gold is tough because it's either yellow or mustard, and maroon can sometimes, be challenging. And even like when you look at like their uniforms, like the athletic departments and stuff, they're all a little bit different shades of maroon and gold. Like it's always hard to kind of match exactly. But anyway, So a while ago, I had bought some yarn from the Blackberry Ridge, and I'm sure I showed it at the time, and I've talked about her before. I think even in the last episode, I talked a lot about it. She had posted a color on Instagram, and I messaged her. I'm like, would you call it maroon and gold? Like, how close are those colors? Because it's a little hard to tell in a photo, obviously. Anyway, she sent it to me, and I was super excited. So what I did, I bought 2 skeins from her. And I made 2 scarves. And the first one, I used the maroon and gold yarn I bought from her as the warp, which is like the length of the scarf, as I've talked about weaving before. And then the weft, the part that you go back and forth, I used a maroonish brown color from Webs. It's like a specific kind of merino tencel weaving yarn, lace weight. And I've used that before too for other weaving things that I've done. So just to kind of see what that yarn would look like with like a solid maroon. And here it is. So it's really awesome. So you can see that the border here is that solid maroon yarn that I used to go this way. And then this yarn is the maroon and gold yarn from Blackberry Ridge, which runs the length of the scarf. And this is all finished, blocked, super soft and smushy. Like after you wet block it, it just has this really kind of awesome, super soft texture. And this is her Briar Merino yarn, I think, which is actually 100% merino. And then, like I said, the other yarn that goes this way is merino tencel from Webs. So that's done, and I'm super excited about this. So then I took the same exact yarn, and I have gold yarn from Webs, and so I used the gold as the weft part, and then that same yarn from Blackberry Ridge as the length. Now this one I just finished, haven't cut the fringe, and haven't wet finished yet. Like I just took this off the loom last night, so obviously the fringe is crazy, but you can see that the border part is just gold. But again, it's the same yarn lengthwise, but look at how different they look, because in this one gold is going across and in this one maroon's going across. So it's kind of cool. So I wanted to kind of see what each would look like, figuring people might like one or the other. And you can even tell in like the texture, like see how this one's very kind of, I mean, it's drapey, but it's more kind of like a hard, like thinner fabric. And once I soak it and pop it in the dryer, it will puff up and be a lot kind of softer and fluffier like this one. And again, I just need to cut my fringe. And even the fringe, you can see, is very straight and dangly, but when you wet finish it, it gets a lot puffier and fluffier, which is awesome. So yeah, so super excited about how these came out. Like if these aren't maroon and gold, I don't know what is, because it's so hard to find those colors. So Blackberry Ridge just did an update, and she sold more of this color. This colorway is called Old Soul. And so I bought 2 more skeins of it because I'm going to do 1 more scarf where I use both the same color in warp and weft, like I did for a lot of the scarves that I did with Hypnotic yarn. Because I'll have 2 of those, I can make it a little bit bigger and a little bit longer. So it'll kind of be like the ultimate. And then I'm going to put all 3 of these scarves up for pre-order on Facebook for anyone from the high school to kind of order it ahead of time. And then I'm going to order that yarn in bulk from Blackberry Ridge, and then hopefully weave a bunch, as many as people order, in time for the craft fair. So that's my other finished object. Okay, so works in progress. I think everything that I'm going to show you today you haven't seen before. So I'm still working on the Umaro blanket for my friends. Again, I'm not putting pressure. I did get some more done since last time. I got like a couple repeats, and it's a decent size, but like they don't know it's coming, or maybe they do and they don't care. Like they'll be happy when they get it. you know, I'm not going to put pressure on myself to finish that when there's so many other things I want to do. Okay, but so to add to that, my lovely niece, Karina, who may or may not be watching this, she's the one that actually started watching my podcast, which is awesome. She asked me so one of her favorite teachers from high school, she's a freshman in college this year, one of her favorite teachers from high school is having a baby. And my niece has actually nannied a bit for this family before, so she has 2 other kids. But so now she's having a 3rd child, and the baby's due, I think, like very beginning of December or end of November. So she asked if I could knit a baby blanket for her to give to her teacher, which I'm super happy to do. Like I've always said, like I just knit to knit. I don't always have like a purpose for my finished objects. And I would give more things to people, but I never know what they want, and I wouldn't want to, I need to find knit-worthy people. So whenever someone actually asks me to make them something, I will absolutely do what I can. So Karina actually picked out this pattern, and again, because I'm not prepared, I don't know the name of it, but it is linked on my project page. And I'm using the same yarn that I'm using for my friend's blanket, which is Valley Yarns Haydenville. And this is, the colorway is called Pompeii. It's funny, it actually matches my blanket back there. It's a very maroonish, leans a little bit brown red. But look, it's so pretty. I mean, it's showing pretty good. It's a really, really pretty red. The baby's name is going to be Scarlet. So while that's not exactly scarlet red, I think scarlet red's a little brighter. It kind of reminds me of, what am I thinking? Oh, like cardinal, that kind of red color. But anyway, she wanted the blanket to be red since the baby's name is Scarlet, which is super cute. And this is what I have so far. Again, I don't have the name of the pattern with me. But it's a pretty basic chart. It just has these couple sections of single cables, and then these little sections that are like leafy, lacy things. And then actually when it's upside down, those sections look like hearts, which is so cute for a baby. And this pattern was actually written, I think, in lace weight, and this is like DK to worsted. So I just did less pattern repeats when I cast on, and then I'll just knit until it gets to a size that I want. So I can't wait to finish this and block it. Like this lacy section is going to be so cool, like when it's blocked. It's just really pretty. And I was going through it pretty quick. I've been kind of bouncing around from project to project. But my goal is to get this done before Thanksgiving, so I can make sure that my niece has it around that time to give to her teacher. So that's kind of exciting. Always fun to do something a little different. And then I also cast on, so if any of you were watching me this time last year, so every year at the craft fair, I like to sell, the shawl is called Miss Grace from Skano. I used to work with them like a little bit, and then it got to be a little too busy for me having a full-time job and trying to do everything else. Sorry. And, but anyway, so I love their Miss Grace shawl. If I remember to put pictures up, I will. But I've made a bunch, and they're so fun to make, and they're just gorgeous. And I had bought a crazy amount of kits last year. I think it was like Black Friday sale. So I have a bunch. And actually they changed the yarn now that they carry for that. And I think they have like a worsted weight version. But so I'm super glad that I got the kits when I did. But so I started that. I need to get this one done too in 2 months, because I do want to have at least one of these for the fair. Is this the right direction? Yeah. So this is what I have so far. It's pretty much like a triangular shaped shawl where you're increasing just every other row on this side, and this one is straight side, even though it doesn't look straight because you carry the yarn up, so it's a little wonky. And then it's mostly all in garter, and then these little sections are like short row sections. I do German short row, and you just kind of go back and forth, kind of increasing and decreasing as you go to kind of make these little sections. So this is, if anyone knows these kits, this is the Eva colorway. It's just these greens and browns and golds. Mostly it's funny, this one's so different from the ones I've done in the past. Last year I did one that was like blues and silvers and grays, and then the years before that I did like taupes and blues and taupes and browns. So to have this much kind of green is very, very different. So I'm kind of excited about that. This is when I started just because I was like, I need to cast it on. And this is also I don't think I showed this last time. So I finally got one of those convertible bags from By the Bay Yarn Co. I'm sure you've seen it on other podcasters. So this is one that can be like a bucket tote. You can wear it like a backpack, or just do one big strand and do it like a shoulder bag. I love it. It's canvas. It's super sturdy. Has a couple pockets inside. Not that I need another bag, but I couldn't resist. I feel like this is a good one that really can be a purse and a knitting bag and a whatever. Like most of the other bags I have are really just project bags. This I like that it's big enough and versatile enough in the way you carry it that it can be both. So that makes me psyched. While I'm showing bags, I'll show you quick too. I did also get another scrappy thread flat sack. Flat sack was the very first thing I ever bought from Erica, the scrappy thread. And since I do have so many whips, I'm trying to kind of put together different Notion bags to put in more than one of my whip bags. So anyway, I kind of couldn't resist. She had a bunch of really, like, normally I like at least a few of her patterns, like when she does releases every weekend. And for whatever reason, the week I got this, I had such a hard time deciding. And I'm not usually like a red and yellow person, but I just love this one. Anyway, so I got another one of those. Okay, next. So after I was done my Comfort Fade cardigan, I was like, okay, let's try sweater number 2. And I've been obsessed with the Like a Cloud cardigan since Joji Locatelli first showed it, I think, on Instagram. And then Tracy of Grocery Girls was knitting one, and I was just obsessed. And I'm not typically a mohair alpaca kind of person. So I was thinking about, if I'm going to knit it, I'll knit it in something else. But I don't know, Shibui yarn is so gorgeous. So as you all know, I used to be a member of Yarnbox, and they are pretty much out of business now. But every now and then we keep getting emails from them being like, oh, hey, we have a big inventory sale, reduction sale. And you click on their website and they have super low rates for all of the yarn that they have left in stock. For whatever reason, they had Shibui Silk Cloud. It's all in here, but like this. So this is the color I got. So anyway, so they had Shibui Silk Cloud ridiculously on sale. And normally it's pretty expensive. So I couldn't resist. So I got that, and then I think from either Eat Sleep Knit or Webs, I don't remember which, I got the Shibui Sima, which you hold both the Sima and the Silk Cloud together. I wouldn't have bought this other, like if I didn't have that sale on Yarnbox, I wouldn't have bought this yarn to make it because it just would have been too expensive, and I couldn't have justified it for myself. So I was really glad that they had that sale, and I luckily got the Bordeaux colorway, and it looks fabulous together. So this is what I have so far. It's so pretty. And really the mohair and alpaca is not bothering me. When I've used it before, I think it was in like less expensive yarn, and it would just like float everywhere, and I wasn't a big fan. And this, like the very first time I used it, like I was wearing like black yoga pants. I was like, okay, this is the test. Like if when I do this, I have mohair all over these pants, it was going to make me a little crazy, but I didn't. And even when I wound them, like there was some fuzz like on the table when I wound it, but like you would expect that because the tension and it's all spinning. And so anyway, I can't say enough how much I love this, and I just love the look of it and the feel of it. So I was kind of cruising right along and getting this done, but I started to be like, okay, Rhinebeck's at the time it was a little more than a month. I'm like, there is no way I will finish this in a month. It would have to be the only thing I worked on. I would have to, my hands would cramp before I would finish this. Because really you're holding 2 lace weight yarns together. So it's basically a fingering weight sweater, and it's big and oversized. And so I stopped. So I was like, okay. Oh, and Joji is doing like the make along. Or the fall knit along, whatever she's calling it. So I was like, okay, I'm going to do it. But realistically, I knew I wouldn't get it done in time for Rhinebeck. So in some ways I didn't want to waste time doing it now when I have so many other whips to do. So anyway, so this one I will definitely get back to after Rhinebeck. I would want to wear it this winter. So I'm definitely going to work on it. I love it. And so then I was like, okay, well, why don't I go back to the very original plan I had of the sweater that I wanted to make for Rhinebeck. And that is the Deeply Rooted Poncho by Lynn DiCristina. Let me see if I have a picture of it. These are paid for pattern, so I don't want to show too much. But that's basically it right there. I mean, you can't see how it's black and white, so you can't see how gorgeous it is. But it has this really pretty detail on the side, a cable, 2 cables, and this lace in the middle. So pretty. And hers in the picture is like this gorgeous pink. But anyway, so once I saw that, again, very first picture she put on Instagram, absolutely loved it. And then a while ago, I did a sample knit for Samantha of Lavender Loon yarn. If you remember, I made the Hoarfrost by Andrea Mowry in this gorgeous color yarn of hers that she sent me. And sort of as payment for doing that, she sent me yarn, and then I bought a couple extra skeins so that I could make that poncho. So it is in her, I don't have the label right now, but so this is Lavender Loon. This is her DK, which is an MCN. Christy Glass actually just interviewed her. So if you're interested in learning more kind of about Lavender Loon and her yarn and her, knitting journey, go check her out. And she's actually wearing, for part of it, wearing the Hoarfrost that I knit for her. So that's kind of cool. Anyway, so this colorway, and now I'm blanking on the name of it. Is it Heartland? Oh my God. All right. Sorry. Again, in my Ravelry page. Is that the name of it? Is that why I said that? I don't know, but it's this really pretty, like, taupey color with just rainbow speckles in really like nice deep saturated colors. This was her full skein when she did like the 12 Days of Christmas or whatever last year. This was like the full skein that everybody got at the end, and I had seen this on the Suburban Stitchers podcast. And that was the first time I really heard about Lavender Loon. So I had actually bought a skein in fingering weight way back then in like January. So then when I did that test knit, I'm like, if you could do DK in this color, I would be super happy. So anyway, so I got skeins of this. And this, let me tell you, I have been flying. If I didn't work on weaving this, I would have this done already. Like, my knitter friends are coming tonight, and I had like barely started it last week. And I'm like, next week I'm going to have it done, but it's not quite done. So here's the poncho. Oh, and this yarn, you guys, it's MCN DK MCN, and it's so soft. So the large, you're basically just knitting in a huge rectangle, and then when the rectangle's done, it'll basically be folded like this, and your head comes out one way, and then your arm is underneath that way, and your arm is up. You know what I mean? It's a poncho. But yeah, so you're just knitting this big, huge rectangle. So most of it's just stockinette, but then the pretty lace detail that I was telling you about. So it's these 2 cables on either side, and then just this little stockinette lace section. And it's just this one chart. So you just knit across this way and then do the chart, and then purl all the way back and do the chart. And it's so nice. And I mean, talk about this color. Like, so pretty. I am alternating skeins. I wasn't in the beginning, and then I got to a section where you can kind of see it here, where there wasn't as many speckles at like the end of the cake, or near the end of the cake. So then I was getting a little worried about that. So then I was going to just change to the second skein that way and just kind of mix it up. But then, as you can see, these first couple rows here, it was almost too much speckles on the new skein. So then I was like, I'm just going to stripe it. So every 2 rows back and forth, I've been alternating. And now I'm actually have brought in like another skein. So it's a little bit lighter up here. But like, it's not, I don't consider this pooling at all. Like, it's so speckly that I feel like it doesn't really matter. And I mean, again, it's going to be this way and folded, and one of it's going to be the front, one it's going to be the back, and you're not going to be able to tell. So I'm so excited to wear this, like with like a white long sleeve t-shirt and jeans. So excited. So yeah, so I think I'm just about halfway done. So hopefully next time I podcast, this better be done, and it will be Rhinebeck sweater number 2, and then that's all off my plate. I think that's it. I think that's all my whips. So the new baby blanket I showed you, the 2 sweaters, the Like a Cloud and the poncho, and the Miss Grace shawl, which I need to get done, and my weaving, which I'm doing. I'll show you some yarn that I got. I placed an order. I don't think I've showed you this yet. I placed an order from Leading Men Fiber Arts. I think it was his birthday, one of their birthdays. So they had a coupon code or something for a sale. So I haven't even, no. I did use their minis for my Who Wears the Crown design. But other than that, I haven't really used much of their yarn before, but I always love it. They're like one that I just like hoard and have no idea what project I'm going to make. So I bought 3 skeins from them in very different colors and bases. So this is their monologue base, which is 523 yards, fingering weight, 65% superwash merino, 20% silk, 15% yak. And this colorway is Fox Says What. And it's, you know, as you can see, kind of red with tans and browns. Super cool. Single ply. Love it. This one is their Diva base, which is 150 grams, 600 yards, 80-20, merino and silk. Also fingering weight. And this is their Diva colorway. And this one, like, I wouldn't think I would normally pick this, but it's really cool. Like, the base is blues, and then it just has lots of speckled and variegation in there. I don't know. I like it a lot. And again, like having their size skeins are always so different. Like I love having a good 600 yard, you know, like 150 gram skein of something, because I could easily weave something nice with this and then maybe a solid color, or again, in some ways you can almost do like one shawl in one skein. So I always like having options like that with either like 50 gram skeins or 150 gram skeins. This base is their Showcase base, which is just their typical 100% superwash merino fingering weight yarn. And this is their Bend and Snap colorway. If you remember, they did like a fun like Instagram contest with the Bend and Snap thing. Again, really pretty, just kind of pastel pinks with some more like magentas and turquoises and blues in there. So I got those fairly recently, and then just the other day, if you haven't got it yet, don't look, Woolberry Fiber Co.'s Gilmore Girls Club. I think it was, what month are we in? September? I think it's the September one. And the colorway name is I Got Hit by a Deer, and it's her 80-20 merino nylon smooth sock set. So it's a 100 gram skein and a 20 gram mini, and this is a mystery club, so you don't know what's coming. And this probably going to get blown out, but it's this really pretty kind of like a butter yellow, but then has a little more kind of chartreusey yellows in there, and then the speckles in it are also kind of maroony, orangey, chartreusey, and then the mini is showing a little brown. It's a little more orange, like fox orange in there, or deer orange, I guess, since it's called I Got Hit by a Deer. Anyway, different. Like, I'm not always yellow fan, but it's so pretty. And I think like with another color and some sort of fade or 3-color shawl or something, I think it will be really pretty. So yeah, so that's about it. Other than that, I did join FiberShare this time around. So if either of my 2 new partners are watching, hi to you guys. Got paired with some great people, both of which that have participated in FiberShare before. They coincidentally, the person I'm sending to last one or a few times ago actually sent to the person that's sending to me. So it's kind of a funny FiberShare triangle. So yeah, so that's been fun. I kind of took a break from that for a little while. But got back into it again when I'm super happy that I did. So it was fun to shop for her and shop my stash a little and see what she would like. and then just kind of think more about the kinds of things that I want to be able to answer some questions from the person that's sending stuff to me. So, and if anyone's never heard about that, definitely go check out probably their Instagram might be the best way to get more info. Fibershare, spelled Fibre share. It's fun. They do a few a year, so it's definitely join one if you haven't before. It's just a really cool way to meet people and to get some yarn that maybe you haven't tried before, and send some stuff to someone else, which is always fun. Okay, I know I flew, and I'm sorry if you feel like you need to like rewind and put me on slow motion to understand anything that I said. But I kind of just have, every day I'm like, oh, I need to podcast, and I've felt so bad that it's been a month since I podcast last time. And really, I mean, I've had a lot to show, so I've really kind of been excited about that. I also have a new shawl design that I'm working in conjunction with Suburban Stitcher yarn. And I'm super excited about that. I can't even wait to kind of get working on that. I have it all sketched out and written out. I just need to get knitting. My goal for that will be to release it sometime after Rhinebeck. So definitely be on the lookout for that. And I will show you some sneak peeks and probably be looking for testers. So just kind of keep that in the back of your mind. All right. Well, hopefully I will podcast again sooner than a month. I don't know, but by then I should have a lot of finished objects, I hope, to show with all of these whips I have going on. So that's that. And until next time, keep on knitting, everybody. Hope you are all doing well, and we will see you soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.